Let me put this right here.
What up, guys? Episode 20, Big 2-0. Welcome back, Real Fans Podcast.
Big 2-0.
Episode 20. Oh, we out here, man.
We out here.
How was your guys' Memorial Day weekend?
That's half of Gabe's life, man.
Oh, wow. Straight to it.
Wow. The slander.
Episode just started.
I'm old, but I'm not that old, bro. Come on, man. I got like 6 more years, and then that'll be...
That's crazy.
But, yo, this weekend was pretty crazy, man. I stayed home. I was telling Jojo earlier, I was like, I had family come in town, so Saturday, I was pretty much at the end of the week, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, I was with family, doing family stuff. And then over the weekend, I went to go visit, I went to Wynwood, actually, which I haven't done all year long, to go visit one of my favorite breweries there. But other than that, it was pretty chill, man. Miami streets are crazy out there. Julian, what did you do this weekend?
I was in Naples, Marco Island area. It was me and my girlfriend's anniversary. So
Okay.
3 years. So we spent the weekend out there. It was pretty fun. It was chill. It wasn't like anything crazy, but it's just like a chill, like beach town. Super rich.
Yeah.
Super rich out there. Big money.
Did you get a boat or anything? I know people they get on their boats and they go out there for.
Yeah, we did like a boat tour to the 10,000 islands. So it says it in the name. Just a bunch of tiny little mangrove islands. So we did the boat there. We kayaked, all that. It was super dope. It was fun.
All right. What'd you do, Jojo? How was your weekend?
Slave to the man. I worked.
I had sex.
you just had vacation, so you just came back from vacation.
Time and a half. That's what I did. I had that time and a half. So
hey,
all good though.
But yo, you want to get into this weekend because some news came out for is it the Trilla fight? Trilla, right? That's what it's called. Trilla.
Which
right?
fight?
We have Mayweather. The Mayweather Paul fight.
Is it
which
with
Paul? Which Logan?
I thought it was with Mayweather because Mayweather's with Showtime, I believe, right?
Oh, okay.
So I think it's on Showtime. They don't do Triller anymore. I think even Jake Paul signed off of Triller, and now that speaking of Jake Paul, they just announced they're doing the Tyron Woodley versus Jake Paul, which I was actually super pumped to see. I actually want to see like him go against the actual striker. And the dude, he ain't no Ben Askren. This guy's a fucking mauler. Well, he used to be. We'll see if he still does. He's got his ass beat these past 4. But those are professional fighters, so it's a little different.
Yeah. The reason I thought it was yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, no. After this fight, we're gonna actually see if this guy Jake Paul is actually legit or not. Which we all know the first 2 fluky, little fluke fights, right? Now this guy's going up against a savage, bro. Going against a beast.
Bro, you can't trust boxing, man.
Is he a savage?
Used to be.
Listen, man.
Used to be.
You can't judge him off his last few fights, all right? Overall,
it was a fall down or tumble from after the championship against Usman.
Listen.
He's still rocked from that fight.
He was a champion. You're going against a championship fighter. That's all I have to say right there.
I mean, but don't we have a discussion like these guys are staying too long? They go an extra fight too long. 1 or 2 fights too long. Like Woodley, yes, he storied guy, maybe up and coming guy, but never really reached that full potential of like maintaining his dominance. I mean, his last 2 fights how many times have he been knocked out? Like his last 4 or 5 fights.
I think he's got knocked out 4 fights in a row. He knocked out Usman, I believe, Burns, and then who did he just fight?
We saw it. Remember that he was knocked against he was barely standing up. The freaking fence gate was keeping him up.
Yeah.
So listen, if he loses this fight, just hide in a cave.
If he loses this fight, he just made a shit ton of money because my thought process, he just made a shit ton of money, and that means he threw that fight on purpose. Like, there's no way in hell. There's no way. I already thought Ben Askren threw that fight. But there's no way in hell that Tyron Woodley is gonna get knocked out by Jake. Tyron Woodley's taking hits from way stronger people, way better strikers than fucking Jake Paul. I get he's been training for probably coming up 4 or 5 years now, 3 years, something like that. And I get it, but at the end of the day, he's not a professional. He hasn't put in the years that Tyron Woodley's been.
At some point, you're gonna have to call him a professional, right? Because if he's training and this is what he's doing main fights.
All right, well, let's say like a TV.
Decorated. At some point, he's gonna have to graduate from not a professional to professional. What you think is a good professional or not, or you think he's the best in the world, I mean, that's a different question. But I mean, at this point, you gotta say the guy is at least a professional, been training, and he's fighting real fighters. He's not fighting a hobo off the street. Like he's fighting real legit fighters.
How he is.
I mean, they're washed.
That's a good point. At some point, we're gonna have to.
The thing is, Tyron's not even that old, though. I don't even think Tyron's that old. I think
he's judging him.
No, I think he is old. I think he's like in his late 30s, bro. He might be like 34 or 35. Oh, he's up there.
Is he that old?
I think he's old, bro. He's not 27. He's not a
I know he's 27. Like in his 30s, but I don't think he's pushing 40. Is he?
I'm about to Google it right now.
See? I'm looking at it. Where the fuck? 82. I guess he is pushing 40. Shit. Why isn't his age?
Birthday.
Yeah.
But you know, 82. While you're looking that up, I mean, the reason why I thought it was studio fights is because I feel like, you know, these guys, it's kind of like a circus, right? These are like celebrity fight, like celebrity boxing or something. Like, you know, when I remember on MTV, they used to have like the animation shit, like celebrity boxing. It would be like Michael Jackson versus Prince or some shit, some weird cartoon. But like now it's in real life because I don't know, it's like a spectacle. You know, just people using their celebrity. These YouTubers.
This is a question for Julian. It says he's very passionate about this.
I'm very passionate about things.
Do you think these celebrity fights are harming or helping the sport of boxing?
Oh, boxing's been fucking dying for it. The thing is, my thought process, I mean, I guess it helps it in a way. Like if you're just talking about the actual sport itself, then yeah, I mean, you're getting more eyeballs on the sport and technicalities. My thing with boxing has been one of those things where it's been hurting itself for a very long time with the corruptness. There's not a more corrupt sport out there than boxing. Like it's just so beyond. I mean, think about everybody that you see fight. They're always like 50-0, 60-0 because they pull up some bum off the street to fight just to get their records up. And realistically, I mean, boxing is just. It's just not MMA. It's just boring, honestly, a little bit. I mean, to me personally, obviously people find it amazing. I love training boxing. I've trained boxing for years. I love boxing as a training, but trying to sit down and watch it, unless it's like some super big fight, I have a hard time just sitting there and watching it. And I think this is just helping get people getting more eyes on it and just making it more entertaining. So I guess in a sense, it's helping it. Yeah. I think it's just like people say it's ruining the integrity of the sport and all that. It's like, get the fuck out. These guys have been ruining the integrity of the sport for a long time. Like, so you can't use that argument.
So it's like helping in terms of what, like promotion,
just views, more eyes on it at the end of the day.
Yeah. I feel like it's kind of shifting over slowly but surely to like WWE side kind of type thing, just solely just for entertainment purposes.
Yeah, it's just seeing people just fight each other. So it's hilarious, honestly. Yeah. I mean, I can care less about the Pauls. I want to see more like other celebrities fight. That'd be funny. But like,
didn't like Wiz Khalifa was training, right? He was like in shape. I think there was pictures of him being like cut.
Wiz Khalifa's no joke. That dude's good. Yeah. And he's not trying to fight or nothing, but
I think the Game was also training. Here's the thing, like. It's a spectacle, right? It's like, you know, everybody come underneath a circus tent. This is some fun to watch. This is like, here, watch, I don't know, elephant stand on its hind legs. Watch, you know, a lion jump through a hoop. It's just entertainment to me. To me, does it make boxing? I'm not really a boxing fan. Like last time I watched was when Tyson was big, and you know, I saw the downfall of Tyson, talking about fighters who stay in too long. But does it make me care about boxing? Like, do I want to research now the best fighters? No. Like, to me, this is just, like I said, it's kind of like a celebrity thing. Like, some guys off of YouTube actually got serious about boxing, and he actually might be a legit, you know, boxer, professional guy. I mean, I guess that brings, if he's taking it seriously and he's actually doing the training and he's actually fighting people that of name and he's actually winning these fights, you know, it's not some fake thing where they're just, you know, throwing fights. If he's actually legitimately boxing, and I guess that's good for the sport, but does it make me want to like research, oh man, I gotta find out who the featherweight? Like, nah, I don't really care. It's just something to put on, you know, when I'm drunk at a bar. I'm sure I'm gonna look up and, you know, I'm more of a fan of other sports, especially now that we're in the playoffs. Like I'd rather watch other stuff. It doesn't really make me care about boxing anymore than I already have, and I really didn't care that much. So
I actually will kind of piggyback on what Gabe said real quick. I was like, he does have a point there. It's like I don't think it's not necessarily helping it because I kind of take back what I say where I says I think it's helping because there's more eyes on it, but not what Gabe put it is like I don't really think it is helping it because I don't think you're really converting people. I don't think people are there just. It's more of like seeing them do a trick in a show versus them actually competing. You're not seeing
entertainment of it, and not like the history of the sport or anything like that.
It's not like it's getting you into it. It's not like other athletes going to other sports and it's like, all right, maybe he did help bring awareness to the sport. Now you're bringing on people that like you did, like let's say esports, for example, you have all these big athletes and stuff on Twitch and doing all, and it's bringing more attention to like esports and some of these bigger personalities that are now on like television and stuff. So it's like you're actually converting people there versus I don't think you're really converting kids to watch boxing as a whole. You're only there for the personality.
I'll say maybe if you're a Logan Paul fan, maybe like, oh wait, Logan Paul's actually legit. Maybe he's converting some of his fans to like be into boxing and watch boxing. But like I said, me, the casual outsider, I really don't care. Like, look at what happened to Nate Robinson. Like, do you think like I care about Nate Robinson's health right now? The guy could still be on the mat face down. Like, I don't know what's going on with him, bro. You know what I mean? Do you think I'm like, oh man, I hope Nate Robinson can come back, Paul versus Robinson 2 or some shit? I don't care. It's like whatever. It's
that'll be a shot.
It's like yeah.
Now let's switch to the other Paul brothers. JoJo, who do you think's taking that with a Paul brother with Logan and Mayweather?
Oh my god!
You think it's going to be set up? Is Mayweather going to get his first loss?
Oh,
no way!
Hell
no way!
No. Here's the thing, though. Right? And these kind of sports, right? Like football terminology, like any given Sunday, anything can happen, right? Whether it's real, fake, staged, you might slip one to the chin and homeboy might get knocked, right? So if you're in that ring, there's always a possibility, right? It's never 100%. Nothing's ever 100%. But the odds are on Mayweather. Obviously, we're all going to say that. Now, you know what everyone else is still going to bet against? They want the upset. They're going to want the upset. Right? And it's always a possibility. But from my point of view, no. Homeboy has no chance.
Do you think it's set up?
If Mayweather takes the fight seriously, like he does, and prepares, like he did for his other 50 professional matches or 49, whatever it was, he's not gonna lose. But if he comes in relaxed, different mindset, and if he treats his opponent any less than any other opponent, he could lose.
Do you think it would be staged? Do you guys think it's staged?
Well, honestly,
for Mayweather to win,
we would have to see it happen to kind of make that decision. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because again, it depends if Mayweather goes in lackadaisical, or you know what I mean. I don't know. An accident happens and he just gets caught lacking. He might get caught lacking. Who knows? You're in the ring. He could be against me. I might slip him a 2-piece. You never know.
Yeah.
He's also the greatest defender to ever box.
Yeah, I was gonna say. The last couple fights for Mayweather, he's super defensive, on the ropes. He evades his game where he's an actual real professional.
He's the greatest
at the height of his. Yeah, he's the greatest to ever do it, and he's a great evader. And there's no way I see Mayweather pushing the fight. Like he's just probably gonna stand there, throw some, evade. Like I don't see. There's no reason for him to be aggressive and like what is because he has the most to lose. If anybody in that ring is gonna have the most to lose, it's fucking Mayweather.
Everybody expects Jake Paul to lose.
Yeah.
The one thing that I do find kind of interesting is that Logan is he's big. He's way bigger. Mayweather's a tiny dude. He's a small guy.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying too. You never know because like, and I'm switching over to UFC, that McGregor fight, he caught one to the face. You never know. You could get dozed off, knocked out, head shift. You know what I mean? You hit that mat, like it could happen.
Roll your ankle, you fall a little bit.
Yeah. What I'm saying is he better treat it the way he treats any other fighter. Preparation. Yeah. And I feel like, even though you're going against an amateur, you know what I mean? Obviously doesn't really have a name for himself. That's just how I feel. If you're gonna go in, man, you gotta be ready.
It's gonna look weird, dude. It's gonna look weird. Just seeing Mayweather so small, Logan like so big.
Listen, man.
I do think I'm more entertained. I think I'd be more entertained by the Woodley thing because I'm actually curious how that plays. Woodley should win by all accounts, but if he loses, I totally feel like he's so.
No, I wouldn't even be upset if Woodley loses and Jake Paul won. I wouldn't be upset. But
I wouldn't believe it. Loses, I wouldn't believe it.
I'd actually be upset if Mayweather were to lose that fight.
I don't even believe he knocked out Ben Askren. But a part of me still thinks like maybe it's possible. I would no way in hell believe that he got knocked out by Tyron Woodley. No way I'd believe that.
I don't know, man. Woodley, dog. I don't know, man. It's too.
I get it, Gabe. But he was facing the tippity top of the MMA welter, one of the most competitive divisions in welterweight. So versus but this is Jake Paul, though, like you're comparing, maybe like, this is too drastic. I think you're overhyping Jake Paul too much. He ain't that good.
No, maybe in 2000 Woodley would have a chance with all, but this is 221, and he's been knocked out so many times. Like, look at
but there's a certain skill. There's experience plays a factor at the end of the day.
And listen, when you're in
he's getting knocked out by
you're doing MMA, bro. You're not just watching for punches. No, you're watching for submissions, takedowns, knees, kicks.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? All your attention isn't up here. And worried about so many other stuff going on in that.
Did you see Jake Paul steal Mayweather's hat like a couple weeks ago? I don't think we ever brought that up. God,
that's almost like a press concert. Yeah.
God, that was the most high school shit I've ever seen. It was so cringy.
He changed his Twitter handle to, I think, got your hat.
That was the most cringy high school thing I've ever seen in my life.
It was forced, dog. Yeah,
they're trying to get the views in. They're trying to sell.
No, I get it, but it was just such like a little kid thing. It wasn't even like they're talking shit. It wasn't even like talking shit like you're a fucking idiot or some shit like that. It was just like, I got your hat.
Thing, bro.
He got so mad. He got so mad.
He was just trying to stun Mayweather. Like, he know Mayweather's at the top. He was just trying to
taller, bigger than him.
Yeah. He's just trying to,
I don't think he was trying to stun him. I think he was trying to like fuck with him. I don't know. I think he was like.
Oh, what else could he do?
It was a stunt, dog.
He wasn't even in the fight. He's not even fighting.
Yo, but I remember
the
shit I remember was Tyson. I remember Tyson. I remember I was a little kid. I remember like they showed this on ESPN where they're in Las Vegas somewhere, and I think his opponent pulled up in a car or something, and he saw him. He was walking out of a hotel. His opponent pulled up in a car, and Tyson jumped. I think Tyson jumped up. He jumped up on a car and did like fucking Superman punch to try to hit the guy, and they actually like started fighting. I'm like, oh shit, like this is like real shit. But what fucking this guy did to Mayweather, I get your hat. Like, come on, man. That shit is so whack, dog. That shit is whack. It's so bad. It's like trying hard to make something. It's like, y'all were just better just saying, waving to the cameras and everybody walk off. You got to do, I got your hat. Like, come on, dog. This is so stupid.
Listen, but it got the job done. It was pointless.
What do you mean? It got the job done.
It wasn't like it wasn't like
sell the tickets.
It wasn't like when McGregor. I was gonna say it wasn't like when McGregor pulled out with the "fuck you" suit. Like, that's funny. Like, when he came out with the "fuck you" suit, just like the pinstripes just said "fuck you" all. That's funny. But like Jake Paul's is more like it just reminded me of middle school. It reminded me of some fucking kid in middle school.
Yeah. It reminded me of some like WWE shit. Like, you know how they do the fake promos or they try to set it up like, oh, he was hiding behind a dumpster and jumped out and beat him up or something. It was like so fake, dog. So fake. So bad. So bad. Anyways.
Speaking of WWE, did you see?
He probably on the camera in the corner and is like, "Oh, what can I do right now? what should I do?"
Yeah.
I was gonna say, speaking of WWE, you guys know AEW?
Yeah,
it's like the competitor thing. Yeah,
that's Khan's.
The Khan. Yeah, they own it. I don't know if you saw recently their past thing. They had Urban Meyer and our assistant coach in there.
Charlie Strong.
Charlie Strong. With Chris Jericho, it was JoJo. So I don't know if you've seen it. So he basically,
JoJo, the owner of the Jags owns AEW, which AEW is like the
competitor,
rival company of WWE. So and obviously they're shooting. I think they shoot because of all this COVID stuff. I think now the WWE and they start opening up.
They had an event in Jacksonville.
Yeah, but they mainly stay in Florida, so they're based out of Tampa and Orlando and shit. So they've been doing a lot of. But obviously, if the owner owns AEW and they're shooting out of Jacksonville or something, obviously they're gonna put the coach. It was so stupid, man. It's like the coach was throwing Chris Jericho a football, and Chris Jericho
so
was throwing it at the guy's head.
So Chris Jericho, he's with
So
you know who
dumb.
Chris Jericho is. He was like a legend in WWE. Yeah. He got transferred to AEW. So during the fight, you ever seen have you ever watched WWE as a kid? Like, you know, like when they go to the backstage, sometimes they do like the backstage fights. Yeah. So this was backstage, and it kept on going backstage, and then they ran into Urban Meyer's room, into his office, and had like a whiteboard set up, and they're like on the computer, and
they're
Urban
doing
Meyer
football plays. And here's some wrestlers.
And,
oh my god!
And Urban Meyer is on his computer, and then like assistant coach Charlie Strong's in there, and then Jericho busts in the door with the guy he's fighting, and they're just like this, and then Charlie Strong starts tossing like footballs to Chris Jericho, and Chris Jericho just spiking it at that fucking guy. He keeps on throwing it.
The guy's like overselling
and then they ran out of footballs, and then Urban Meyer's like, and he gives him his laptop, and then he just fucking beamed his ass. That probably had the fucking depth chart. That probably had Tim Tebow plays on that laptop. Who knows what was on that laptop?
And he throws him out the room, and then freaking the coach is like, "Oh man, that was crazy."
He was like, "What the fuck?" Urban Meyer's like, "What the shit?" He's like, "What the fuck just happened?" It was hilarious.
That was unexpected.
Yeah.
See, but that's funny.
He said something.
Yeah.
He said like, "What the fuck?" He's like, "Holy shit" or some shit. That's hilarious.
That's funny to me because I know Chris Jericho's a pretty funny guy, and obviously I think he's like the main guy for AEW.
Yeah, he's like their main signee.
It's kind of weird. They're trying to shoehorn these celebrity. They put fucking Donald Trump was in fucking WWE. They have all these actors come in.
It just makes it funny.
You ever see Shaq? They had Shaq the other week too. They didn't have Shaq. AEW had Shaq.
Oh, The Rock made a comeback like a couple years ago.
Oh yeah, but that to me that's kind of fun. Even though I haven't been watching wrestling, that's fun to me. But obviously they're intending it to be funny, so. It's kind of like,
I
whatever.
thought it was a good way to implement it, because it's like you're going through the backstage, just which they're actually shooting it, and they just happen to run into like the fucking office of Urban Meyer. It's just kind of funny. It made sense.
I bet you Tebow's gonna be in one of these WWE ones. I bet you.
Before the season
starts. Wait, speaking of Tebow, hold on. See how jacked this guy is?
That dude's huge. He's 255, 6'2", 255.
Places, bro. I think Tebow's ready, bro.
You see him running routes out there? You see him running routes? He's just
I need you to Google right now Tim Tebow at practice.
I'll have to turn this off. I have only one computer. So.
Man, he's woken up, bro.
Jojo sent me an Instagram post. It was like he's fucking yoked. He's like 6'2". Well, he's always been 6'2", obviously, but he's 255 solid. And then I don't know if you've seen the footage too, Jojo, like him actually running routes and stuff out there and hitting blocks and stuff. He looks good, man. He looks good.
Can he catch a ball? He
didn't drop a single pass in his last practice. He had 2 touchdowns and didn't drop a single pass.
And Julian's on that, bro.
Granted, no, it was all you didn't hear it. It was like all over the channels, like ESPN and stuff.
What did you eat for breakfast that day, Julian?
That shit was all on ESPN and like everything, or
of
Fox
course,
Sports.
ESPN
yeah, but basically, I mean, it's practice, so it's like But he caught 2 touchdowns and didn't drop a single pass the entire practice.
ESPN got to say 3 names. Practice. Yeah.
We'll see in training camp when they put pads on.
Let's get ready for the.
I mean, it's OTAs. It's OTAs. So.
Let's get off of this. Let's get off of Tebow because we're gonna have a whole preseason with Tebow or whatever. Can we get into the NBA playoffs right now? Man. Let's talk about NBA playoffs.
Are you sure you want to talk about that? Right now. You still wearing that jersey, bro?
Let's start off with
I've been wearing it the whole time.
Let's start off with you, Gabe.
What's up, Gabe?
Before we even start, I'm gonna need Gabe to reiterate what he said last week. What was your guarantee? We all need to hear it back. Last episode.
So Julian from the future, you're gonna go back and clip the part where I say Heat and 5. I'll say it right here. I said Heat and 5. I believe that the Heat would match up against the Bucks. Obviously, it didn't turn out that way because the Heat got swept. They went to Milwaukee 2 games. They could have won the first one. Gave up those 2 games. Came back home to Miami. Like, okay, home stand, home team. Nothing. A fucking fart. Air fart. All right, man. Look, I said what I'm still consistent with what I said. Even though I believe my team, I believe they matched up well, and I believe they could have won in 5. The East got better. Everybody got better. They had it. All the other rosters added people for their runs, and Miami Heat kind of stayed dead. They were very stagnant. Again, bubble fluke. I hate the excuse of bubble fluke. People are like, oh, they're a bubble team. Tyler Hero is a bubble player. I'm like, dog. Fine, you want to say bubble, but everybody was in the bubble. Isn't that what competition is? You want to make everything even, right? You want to make all things being equal. Whoever is the most talented team, whoever's in school the most points, whoever can stop the most, they win. And guess what? In this series, it was the Bucks. They're the better team, and I actually kind of think that they're probably going to be the favorites. Like everybody was saying, the Nets. I think if the Bucks face the Nets, which they will, the next series, right? Because that's the next series coming up.
If the Nets win.
No, the Nets swept already. They beat the Celtics.
Oh yeah.
All right, wait. Simple question.
Let's talk about the Heat.
Obviously, we know who won the series and everything. But watching the games, do you think they won because the Bucks played really well, or the Heat just played really bad? Or the Bucks is just the better team overall.
I think it can be both. It doesn't have to be one or the other. I think it's both. I think what we saw happen was Jimmy Butler did not play to the same level he did last year. In fact, he probably regressed. Bam Adebayo regressed.
Yes.
I think the only player that was playing lights out that you can say gave us a chance was Duncan, but Duncan was shooting lights out from the season going into the series.
But wasn't Bam playing better this year actually than last year?
The playoffs? No,
not in the playoffs. Like as a season
overall, I wouldn't say so because he didn't get picked for it. That's why Jimmy Butler was supposed to go to All-Star, but he didn't. But since Bam Adebayo didn't get a pick, he didn't go to the All-Star. He didn't honor it or whatever because he felt like Bam should have been honored.
That's what I was saying. Wasn't he playing better this year? I mean, obviously not in the playoffs. But
I'm not sure. I have to look at the stats. I can't remember specifically. But here's the thing, man. Jimmy not playing good. Bam's not playing good. The other team is better. Like, how can you expect the same result last year if, like I said, the East got better, all the teams got better, all the teams at the top. Before it was just Celtics and then Celtics and 76ers were kind of expecting to win, and Bucks too. But then, people added to the roster. We didn't. I thought, like I said, the game one was a winnable game. Biggest problem I see is Bam not taking charge. Like, there's this thing where he likes to facilitate when, and that's what I saw the Bucks do is they left him out in the open. They're like, oh, you out there in space? Go ahead, take that shot. Because what Bam was doing, he was trying to look for the next shooter. Instead of taking the shots himself, he was trying to facilitate when, at some point you got to be aggressive and take those shots because you got to score. So he disappeared. He disappeared the series. Jimmy didn't get better. And the better team won, man. That's it. The better team won. I'm upset. I still believe in Heat in 5. But Miami Heat.
What do you mean believe in Heat in 5? It's already over.
I still believe in Heat in 5, dog.
It's already over, Gabe. Give it up.
I mean, listen. There's still a chance. But that's it for the Heat, man. Congratulations.
Losers bracket.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm excited for the next series because I think the Bucks play the Nets. So
that's gonna be the winner of the East. That series is the winner of the East.
Bucks and Nets.
Winner of that series is going to the NBA Finals. Care what anyone says.
Speaking of Nets, obviously last night the Nets finished off Boston with the Celtics. And probably the biggest thing that happened was like was it Kyrie stepping on the logo? I don't know if you guys saw that.
That was the game before, but yes.
Yeah, that was the game before, not last night. Yeah. How'd you guys feel about it?
Yeah.
You guys see the video, Julian?
I did not see the video. You have to explain.
At the end of the game, Kyrie goes up center court
in Boston. Yeah.
Stomps or wipes his shoe on
like
the Boston logo, like the head.
Like Juju?
Juju was dancing.
Yeah.
But Kyrie
but like in the sense, but like to make
face stomp on that. Like his foot across the face of the logo. And as he was heading back into the tunnel, that's when a fan threw a water bottle.
Damn.
Because
I knew the fan threw the water. I didn't know the logo thing. I didn't look too much into why.
That was the game before a couple hands, and going into the series, I think there was like a lot of like fan instances of where like fans going crazy, which we can talk about a little bit later.
I guess we could touch up on that later. But yeah, so for that series, Brooklyn clean house. Moving on to the next round, Bucks clean house. Tonight, right now, going on, we got the Hawks and Knicks, and I don't know why I'm not a Knicks fan to claim that, but I have some faith in them. This can't be the end of the road. This can't be it, bro. I feel like obviously tonight's a must win or they go home, but yeah, this is one of the most exciting series. Like I feel like most passionate fans, two losing franchises, they're going head to head. You got Trae Young out here making himself the villain, but people are
Atlanta's
loving it.
Gonna take this, bro.
Trash talk game is getting back up there. This is what I feel like playoff basketball is. Right? There's no jersey swaps going on at the end. Like they're getting into it in the media. They're getting aggressive on the floor. Mm-hmm. Dope series, man. That's I wanted to keep going. Like I don't want it to be over. I wish the Knicks, just give it all tonight and just win, man.
Atlanta's gonna end this shit.
I hope they do.
I'm about to check the score.
Because if there's something...
Hawks 52-47. 52-47 Hawks.
Yeah, they're in the third quarter, I believe. They're still playing right now. If there's anything, as a Heat fan, that brings me more joy, it's the damn Knicks fans shutting the hell up because they rarely ever make it to the playoffs. I'll give you this, like I said.
They finally
East got
made
better.
it.
East got better. Knicks got better. They have a pretty good team. They got. If I'm a Knicks fan and I haven't been in the play, hadn't had a lick of hope, y'all got a decent team. But I mean, this shit is ridiculous. They won one game. They split. I think they split their home series. They played. Atlanta played the first two games in New York, and they split the home series. And bro, these Knicks fans are out there in the street. You see all the fucking YouTube videos. They're acting like, they won the whole damn thing.
They're down 3-1.
The whole damn chip.
Like, bro, I don't think you realize how long it's been.
And they down 3-1 in the first round, man.
Since the 90s. Years, bro. Since 99. Well, 99 is when they went to the finals.
Bro. Yeah. They weren't even supposed to be an 8th seed this year. They weren't even supposed to be a playoff team with the squad they had. They made it to the 4th seed, got their first win in 8 years.
Yeah.
There's some reason to celebrate. You feel me? Like, I get it. Maybe some are overreacting, but like, dude, imagine you're just waiting 8 years for your team to get a playoff win.
Yeah.
8 years. Bro, listen, they're not lucky enough to have LeBron, Chris Bosh.
I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't be hyped. I mean, I would be like, if they won the series, I would be hyped. No, if they won the series.
With your Jacksonville Jaguars,
it's different sport, man. If they win a playoff game, you're going to the next tier. That's completely different versus winning one game in a 7-game series. Don't mean shit. It doesn't mean shit.
It's a reason to celebrate. It is.
If you won the series, then I completely understand. If you win the first round and you get knocked out in the second round,
you gotta celebrate. When are you gonna celebrate? You're gonna wait to the end of the series to celebrate your win?
I wouldn't be. I mean, I'm down, bro. Like, why am I like? It's 3-1. Like, why am I celebrating?
Okay, now it's 3-1, but they split at home, so they're gonna celebrate the first one. You feel me? Obviously,
but they don't gotta be in the street, bro. They're blocking traffic. They're having a fucking parade at 12 o'clock at night. It's like, bro, you won one game
in the first round against the Hawks.
And what else do they do here in Miami, bro? They block traffic off of anything. Any team wins out here blocking traffic.
Yeah. We're celebrating. We're celebrating because we're happy for a win. But bro, we're not acting like it's the damn end of the series. Like they're acting like it was a fucking playing game, or so it was one game to win them all. It's like, bro, calm down. It's like I understand they don't know what the playoffs are. They don't know how playoffs winning at home is.
Wait, is it over?
Come on,
is it over? We won, right? We won the series.
Bro,
right?
they have one more playoff win than the Heat do this year.
Okay, fair enough. What can I say to that? What can I say to that? I can't say nothing. But what I can say is rings, because we've been there before. Speaking of rings, the last time I think during the Big Three era, I think they played the Knicks in the first round. It's like 2012, 2011, 2012.
And Melo was on that team, I believe. Yeah.
They played the Knicks in a series, the first round, and they always lost the series.
That's the last time the Knicks made the playoffs.
Yeah, Melo was there, and they had Amari Stoudemire and all that.
Bruh, they won a game. They won a home game, which is okay, fine. You won a home game. And they dropped confetti, dog. Off of one game. They won one game and dropped confetti like it's fucking New Year's, dog. These fucking Knicks fans are crazy. They win one game and they act like they're fucking champions of the world. It's like, bruh, like, act like you've been there before, bro. Like, this is the playoffs. It's a series. You have to play more. After you win one, you play another one, and you have to win 4. It's not just one game.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. You try to compare it to my Jags. This is a completely different sport. You win a playoff game, that's huge.
I know how you get when you guys finally come out of the trenches. That one year, you guys almost made it to the Super Bowl.
It's different. We almost made it to the Super Bowl. Like, they won one game and a best of 7.
So there's only 3 games to get there, and in the NBA, you got to win 16 to win it all. Yeah. So that's what I'm saying.
Completely different sport, though. Completely.
To not shit on the Knicks anymore. I mean, I don't think this is a bad season. This is not a ruined season. If they lose in this first round, it's not fun. Like, I don't expect them to win anyways, but if they lose in the first round, I don't still think it's a wash. The season's a wash. You had a successful season. You got in the playoffs. You haven't been in the playoffs, and now you're in the playoffs. Now you're facing another team that hasn't been in the playoffs in a long time.
I was about to say, but the flip-flop, shout out to the Hawks. I didn't expect them to be this good this year. Like, I didn't expect them to be on the top 4, and then, or were they 4 or 5?
They were 5.
It doesn't matter. They're the same record.
Most likely getting the Sixers. I don't know if that series is over. No, it's not over, right?
No.
It's not over yet. No.
Oh, they kept it alive.
They're playing right now. Sixers up 95 to 87.
The whole Joel Embiid injury. Sixers versus Hawks potentially.
I'm not gonna be excited for that series. I feel like the 76ers, they also got better.
I honestly don't. Yeah.
Embiid is hurt now because he just got I think he had a slightly torn meniscus and he's day to day, and I don't think he's playing tonight. But I still like the Sixers. They're still a strong team. The Hawks, like I said,
Sixers
even
should
if they
close
lose
it
in
up tonight. It looks like they're going to too.
Those aren't bad seasons. If you're a Knicks fan, you're an Atlanta Hawks fan, don't be disappointed if you don't fucking get to the finals. You had a successful season. You got to the playoffs.
Of course.
So kudos to them. But here's the thing. Here's the thing with Knicks fans, though. On my last gripe, they compared. Here's what they actually said this season. They compared Julius Randle to Chris Bosh, dog, and that went too far for me, dog. Do not compare Julius Randle to Hall of Fame Chris Bosh, okay? It's just don't do it, okay? That's why if I'm upset, that's why. That's one of the main. That was like the last straw. I was like, yo, this is just crazy, man. These New York fans are fucking nuts. But shout out to you. Right now, it's a tie game.
Hey, man, Julius Randle, he's still young, bro. You don't know what the future holds with that guy.
Oh, listen, he's dropping 50 tonight, watch. Game's still going on.
What's the box score as we speak?
Oh man.
Randle has
the series alive.
Randle has 18 points right now.
Going for 50.
So So let's slide over. That's the East. We're done with the East. Like I said, I'm pretty excited for the Nets Bucks series. Let's fly over all the way to Los Angeles. And let's check in with our resident Los Angeles Lakers. Our LeBron fan here, JoJo. You probably been watching the games. Tell me what's going on with the Lakers, dog.
AD's injured.
Remember when I used to use that excuse?
Yo, listen. All right, look. One, hit the panic button too soon. I know everybody is, right? You got the defending champs, yada, yada, yada. Here's the thing. Yes, I'm a LeBron fan. I want him to win. I want him to take the whole thing. I'm not going to panic yet. When's the last time he's been eliminated in the first round? There's still 2 games left, all right? The Suns are not unstoppable.
Still 1 game left. Still one game left. I think they're up 3-2 on the series.
3-2, yeah.
Well, they have to win 2 more is what I meant to say.
Yeah, okay.
Right, so there's still at least 2 games. At least 2 games left, right? LeBron, when's the last time he's been knocked out of the first round?
In a long time.
Also, Suns are the 2nd seed. You know what I mean? I'm glad they're playing while improving their season. Right? Who said it was going to be easy? Like you're the 7th seed. Yes, you're the defending champs, but you are the 7th seed. The Suns have earned their right, whether they had playoff experience or not. They had a very good season, right? They got veteran, leadership from Chris Paul. I'm giving them credit, and I'm not going to hit the panic button. Good. You're supposed to, in the first round, be up in the series. You are supposed to. Now, let's see what LeBron, veteran LeBron, and let's see if AD gets back in and win 2 games back to back, which is 100% possible. Now, why everyone is worried is because how bad they lost last game. It was a blowout. It felt like I was at that Milwaukee Heat game the other day when I went to game 3. That's what that game was. There was no hope. So I understand that feeling because I was there as a fan, and you're there like, wow, that was terrible. You feel like the series is over and you lose by 30. You know what I mean? Especially in this situation. It's not looking the best. You got AD out. Let's not forget who's on that court, bro. You got LeBron James. Yeah. Until you take him out,
proves my point that LeBron can't win a chip unless he has a shit ton of help.
Bro, listen, he's 37, bro. That's it.
This has been his whole career, dude. His whole career has been like,
listen, bro.
He has to have so much help just to make it to the finals.
Well, I think, look, here's the thing. In defense of LeBron James.
My guy literally carried the Cavs 2016, 2017 to the finals with who?
J.R. Smith.
Who are these players? Timothy Mozgov?
That was also the era when the East, when the fifth seed in the East were below 500. The fifth seed in the East were below 500 that year. Those years,
bro.
When the West was out here grinding, now he's on the other side of the coast, and now he's understanding that it's way more difficult. Those years when he was in Cleveland, he was facing more difficult bums, bro.
Listen, Julian, he's the defending champ right now. You can't say anything. Way more difficult this, blah, blah. He already won in the West. He proved it. That's it. Case closed.
Bubble season. I'm pulling Gabe's bubble season.
Julian, he is a champion. He won in the West. He proves he can do it.
Because he had AD. But they've won that without AD. AD was the MVP of that.
In defense of LeBron James, okay,
AD went fucking off.
While I am a LeBron fan, I do root for him. I think he's a great champion, one of the greats of my lifetime.
He's 37, still in his prime.
Yeah,
he's not in his prime.
He has mileage. So you're talking about, he needs help. He needs help. Most players,
he's not in his prime. Why is he still a top 5 player in the league?
Yeah, but he's not in his prime.
He's still in his prime. He's not digressing.
He could be a top 5 player, but he's not in his prime.
Digressing.
When he was in his prime, he was the unquestioned best player in the league. It's a question mark right now.
Here's the thing. Okay, in defense of LeBron James, if you look at every team in the NBA, all these championship teams that have come, they've always had multiple players that were good, right? Because they've always had kind of stacked teams. Like you always had, it wasn't just one guy. Like, I mean, there's not really. Maybe you can say. One guy's almost got there. Let's say like Dwight Howard. Dwight Howard, when the Orlando Magic went to the finals, you can say Dwight Howard dragged that team. I can't tell you anybody else who was on that roster. You want to say LeBron James before he went to Miami. Like he dragged those nobody teams. Fucking not Mo Williams. Tyron Lue.
You're talking
about the coach. Oh, you're talking.
No, the player.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I thought I got confused. I thought
he's a coach now, but he's a player. So you can say, he had enough talent to drag those teams, and those players had enough talent to drag those teams to the finals. But the thing that gets you over is you need a group. You definitely need a group. And if there's anybody who has fucking mileage, it's fucking LeBron James. The guy has a season and a half of games on him, just playoff games. He has a season and a half of just playoff games. Because that's how many times he's been in the playoffs to play a full season. So you're going to need help, especially him aging, whatever. I still think he's at the top of his game. Maybe he's not his prime, but he's still a fantastic player. And he doesn't need to do everything anymore. Like, he did that already, like, at his young age when he had the ability to do so. But he doesn't need to do that anymore. Like, he's a champion, and everybody has to play their role. Like, you know what I mean? And one of the big things from the bubble is...
I don't know what else you expect from him. He's 37. You know how many vets retire by 35? Dwayne Wade retired before 37. He's going to Hall of Fame.
They came in the same league. They came in the same time as...
all these guys...
Is he at his prime or is he not? Like, you're going back and forth.
What I'm saying is, of all great players, he hands down has the longest prime. In terms of success,
I'll give you that. Yeah.
In terms of his stats, when has he digressed, bro? Look at his stats this season. He's still in his prime. Like if you really look at it, is he averaging?
He has
15
digressed,
points,
dude. You
5
can't
rebounds?
acknowledge he's digressed.
Right.
Obviously, LeBron digressed is different than everybody else's, but he has digressed.
Which proves my point that he's still above everyone else.
So
Like,
what was I gonna say?
He's not the best player in the league right now.
He's, this season, if anything,
I feel like
I
say he was the best player in the league right now. I said
so
he's still
digressed. When LeBron was in his prime, he was the best player in the world. When he was,
but that doesn't mean he digressed. Maybe people got better. He's getting older, but like you're literally. You're like
he's still effective.
He's still digressed.
He's
Bottom
still
line, he digressed. He just is.
But he's still an effective starter. He's not gonna, if he was on any other team, he would still start.
That's like saying, all right, like switching over to Tom Brady. He's still at the top. He's 40-something years old. Yeah, he's digressed, but he's still up there. He's still.
I don't know. I don't even think. I do not really think Tom Brady's digressed. I think he's
here we go.
Same guy.
Oh my god! But if it's LeBron James digressed. If it's Tom Brady
broke a record in the Super Bowl. Like he literally broke a record.
You hate LeBron, bro. Just say you hate LeBron.
LeBron has digressed. Did he not? Jojo, you know it's true. He digressed. It just is. He just did, bro. It happens.
In terms of what specifically?
He went from the best player in the world at that current moment to now you're saying he's not even, he's like in the top 5. He has digressed.
Top 5 candidates.
His digress has changed. It's not, you can't compare his digress to somebody else's, but he's just not who he was at the end of the day. You're saying that he's 37, you can't expect him to do all this, but then you're saying he's in his prime. So which one is it?
Listen, my God.
You're going back and forth. You're saying he's in his prime. Do
you understand what I'm saying?
But then your next thing you're saying he's 37.
I understand. He's still an effective starter in the NBA. He can still score points and put up points.
Yes, I'm not saying that, but he's digressed.
You can regress in your prime.
That's all I'm saying. He's digressed. If you can't digress in your prime, then you're not any longer in your prime.
I mean, Michael Jordan regressed too. Like, you ever seen
everybody
his eyes
does. It doesn't matter. Everybody digressed. It just happens.
Tom Brady has never.
I don't think he has yet. He won a fucking Super Bowl. He hasn't digressed yet, and he beat.
LeBron just won a championship.
He did a comp.
LeBron just won a championship.
It's a different sport.
Bro, AD
won that. Jojo, first off, AD won that fucking chip. AD won that chip. Did he not? Did AD not win that chip? AD won the chip. Did he not?
Next topic, because
did AD win the chip? No. Real quick, answer this. Who was the better player in that playoffs? AD or LeBron?
Tom Brady in his left arm didn't win him the Super Bowl.
Who was the better player, AD or LeBron? Say it.
Who was the better player?
LeBron won Finals MVP.
Fuck that. That's popularity contest. Who was the better player? AD was the better player, and you know it. AD was the reason why they won that championship. Without AD, they didn't even make the playoffs the year before. 1 year later, you add AD, and they're in the playoffs.
Without LeBron, the Lakers aren't even relevant right now. So,
well, yeah, of course. But I'm saying without AD, they weren't in the playoffs. You add AD, they win a championship. They won that because of AD.
He's a LeBron hater. You can't argue with someone.
Yeah.
Who just
But am I wrong? But am I wrong though?
You are wrong. Yes.
So you're saying without AD, they didn't make the playoffs. You add AD, they win a championship, and then you're still trying to say
LeBron was also injured during that stretch. That's why they didn't make the playoffs.
Injured, dude. But exactly, AD won it. It's AD's team, and everybody knows it.
And with Tom Brady adding all these weapons to the Bucks and recruiting, and
that team is stacked.
Gronk won the Super Bowl. Why did Gronk come out of retirement? Gronk won the Super Bowl.
That's AD won that chip, and you know it. You said he's injured. He's all this other stuff. All this. It just proves my point that AD is the reason why they won that champion. AD is probably the best player in the league right now. I'll take AD over anybody. AD is the reason why they won that championship.
That's like Antonio Brown won the Super Bowl.
Then why didn't LeBron make the playoffs without AD? Why didn't LeBron make the playoffs without AD? Tom Brady never missed the playoffs. Why didn't LeBron make the playoffs without AD?
LeBron made 8 straight finals.
Why did he not make the playoffs without AD? AD joins the team, they win the championship.
He got injured.
All right.
He's always fucking injured. It's AD's team. It's still points. It's still a point that AD is still his team. It's AD is the guy.
LeBron got injured. That's why he didn't make the playoffs.
Georgia just can't help that LeBron's not who he was anymore, bro.
LeBron was out. LeBron was out.
Just not who he is. It's AD. You're proving my point. He was out, and AD led them to the championship.
Oh, 2 seasons ago when they didn't make the playoffs.
Oh, you're talking about when they didn't make it?
Yes.
Bottom line, AD is the reason why.
This guy's arguing on nothing.
Okay, but pull up his record and his stats when he was playing.
Listen, we're gonna do a post show.
And first off, how many times has LeBron been injured in convenient times? When the team sucks, he's injured. When they're not doing well, he's injured. He comes back. I'm talking about these past few years. He comes back when it's convenient. He always does.
You are literally wrong. That was LeBron's first.
This past year, did he not come back when it was convenient? He had a calf injury. He came back when it was convenient, right before the playoffs.
What are you talking about? You're wrong.
Did he not? Did LeBron not miss like a half of the season? I'm being hyperbolic, but did he not miss a shit ton of games and comes back for a play against the worst team right before the play-in game? Did that not happen?
He played a few games before the play-in game.
Yeah,
he
before the playoff. Yeah.
He had to get playoff ready.
He had to get speed. He had to get game speed.
Yeah, bro. What do you?
I just think it was really coincidental that he decided. He clearly waited. He waited.
He was injured. What do you want him to do?
He waited, dude.
The biggest here we go. Let me just put a point on this. The biggest reason why LA fell, because even though they fell all the way down to the 8 seed or 7 or 8 seed, I forget the number, it's because of injuries. They had their main players were out for most of the season, like in the middle of the season. AD and LeBron were out at the same time, and that's the reason why they fell. Even though they fell, Las Vegas still had them as favorites. Like, how are you a number 8 seed still a favorite? Now they're fighting for their lives now.
All right,
they're fighting for their lives, but the reason why they fell and they're still contenders is probably because of LeBron, and I would say AD. AD is probably the future. He's the younger.
All right, let me put this in.
The future.
The final question: do you think AD is the best player on that team, and do you think that AD is the reason why they won the championship? And do you think AD is the best player?
Listen, bro.
No. Answer: is AD the best player on that team?
Oh.
Wow. Okay. LeBron, you just can't stop sucking LeBron James' dick, bro.
Bro,
you can't do it. You can't stop. You know AD is the better player. Gabe, who's the best player on that team?
You did that live?
Gabe, I want to end it.
Who's the best player on that team?
They're both equal. Yo,
that's crazy.
Can we talk about these crazy fans?
Y'all hate on AD. Y'all hate on AD. You can't stop sucking. You're not giving him the credit he deserves. They've won that because of AD.
Bro, listen,
not LeBron. People just want to give it to him because he's been crowned since he was 16. AD was the guy.
Julian doesn't watch basketball that much. Clearly, in the last 5 seasons, right, for every championship, a major player was acquired to win that championship. Kawhi Leonard to the Raptors.
Mm-hmm.
AD to the Warriors. LeBron won on the Cavs. With who?
I'm talking about since he's been with the Lakers. I'm talking about AD is the guy on that team, and everybody knows it. He's the guy. He's the face of the franchise.
I would say he's the future.
He's not the face. It's LeBron retires.
Show me AD stats and LeBron stats, and you cannot tell me that AD is not the guy. AD is the best player on that team, and it's a fact. It's in the numbers. AD is the best player.
Carry on.
All right.
Babe. You just
we talk about these.
Giving him credit.
All right.
Yeah.
We're gonna end it because I feel like we covered everything. We covered all our bases. I just want to end on the last topic being the crazy fans, because it seems like now the COVID vaccine is out. All these stadiums are allowing more people to come to the stadiums. They're increasing their percentages. Used to be 50%, now they're 7%, they're 100%. Obviously now we're in the playoffs, so they're trying to get full capacity, especially the teams that are still around. So I just want to kind of talk about kind of the crazy things that have been happening over the past, it seems like the past 3 weeks with the start of the playoffs. We had obviously incident with Russell Westbrook where he's walking. I think they lost that game. He's walking under the no, he got injured, and I think he had a leg injury or something. He was walking back to the tunnel. Somebody threw popcorn on him, and obviously, Russell Westbrook has had incidences where people yell shit at him. I remember when he was he in Houston? I remember some guy yelling at him, or somebody. Oh, when he went back to OKC, a guy like sticking the middle finger or something. He like stood up from his chair and got like right in his face, and that was a big incident. And I think the fan got ejected, whatever. So that was Russell Westbrook over the week. We also had the other day Kyrie Irving. He apparently in the middle of the game. I think they won the game already, or the game was won already.
Over, yeah.
He kind of goes to half court, kind of clap up his teammates, and then he kind of does a stepping motion over Lucky's little, Lucky, the logo of the Celtics eye, and people found that abhorrible for some reason. And as they're leaving, fan throws, water bottle at him. Fans arrested. Apparently, they're gonna charge him with like assault with a deadly weapon, apparently, which is like a felony, which is crazy.
That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous.
So, and then we had another fan I forget what game it was. I think it was the Washington game.
Yeah, where tried to run on the court.
He ran from like halfway, like the mid bowl, all the way in the back, kind of ran, kind of tapped up the thing. So, just overall, like, why do you think there's like kind of an uptick? What's your opinions on like the uptick of like crazy fans? Like,
well, that's just the NBA. Look at the fucking baseball. Yeah. There's been fucking brawls going on. That shit's a war zone up there in the 300 section. That shit's going fucking crazy.
I know there's a fight.
Yeah, I've been sending Julian clips of these brawls going on during these baseball games.
It's a fucking war zone up there, man.
Guys getting knocked out, getting two-pieced.
Yeah.
Like, dropped out cold with these baseball games.
Bro, and a lot of conversation is like, oh, people, COVID-19, people have been home, they've been locked up, and now they're getting out, and people are just excited. And this is just a symptom of like people,
I think it's just
home, pent up stress and whatever. But like, how do y'all feel, Jojo? How do you feel about like, have you ever seen fans balling out in your experience, like going to stadiums, going to games, or is it pretty much like people try to keep it in between the lines? Like, I don't know how you feel about this.
I mean, personally, from my experiences, either working with the Heat or the Marlins during the times, I haven't seen any brawls or any animosity. Sometimes, obviously, in Miami, with the sports teams, not really a sports town, you have a lot of the opposing teams' fans show up to the games. But I haven't really. It depends on the fan base for which ones that are really rowdy and like who shows up, like who are really passionate. I know Cubs fans usually roll deep. Red Sox, Yankees. Teams of that sort, like to the Marlins games here, but I haven't seen any real animosity or anything because it's not really a rivalry here with the Marlins per se. I've yet to go to a Yankee Boston game. Surprisingly, I heard those games are really crazy. With the Heat games, LA really shows out. Knicks fans show out, but I haven't seen any animosity between fans. In my personal experiences, even at the Bucks game, recently, obviously we just went game 3. I didn't see any issues. We're down 30. I didn't see Buck fans getting in the faces of the Heat fans from where I was or anything like that. So no, not really. I haven't seen firsthand. But I do gotta add this: if Julian had courtside seats to a Laker game over here, he'd definitely be the type to throw a water bottle at LeBron James if he's walking by. I just gotta throw that out there.
It's for his tears because he cries all the time.
He's 100% the type to throw some popcorn or water bottle at LeBron James if he were to walk by. That's all I have to say.
Julian, you've been to Jags games. How is the atmosphere at the Jags? I don't know. We haven't really played Jacksonville a lot. I'm trying to think of if there's kind of a maybe in-state rivalry. Not really, because we're not in the same.
It's one of those where it's like if there is an in-state game, I don't know if you've been to it, Miami I don't know what it is down here, but at least in Jacksonville, a lot of Dolphins fans and Bucks fans show out to come up.
Yeah.
I've seen all kinds of shit. I think the reason you don't really see it much down here is I don't think obviously there is passionate sports fans for every team everywhere. But down here, you're just not. It's not like Boston. Like Boston, they take their shit serious. So it's like you step on their logos. I don't think people down here really care that much. Like it's all whatever, but like nobody really cares that much. You didn't grow up. A lot of people didn't grow up watching that. They're just kind of like there to it. It just seems more like a side thing. It's not a super passionate. Like when I grew up, like people like they on fucking fights. Like there was like you get drunk, you start. There was a place. There's a place called the Bud Zone in the Jaguar Stadium. It's just like a Budweiser, just a massive bar. Everybody you can stand up. People drinking all the time. People drunk. And man, that's where I went when I was a kid, and I seen some shit. You see some crazy ass fucking fights and like people getting mad and upset. But I don't think it's to the extent of like Boston or like New York or where those more dedicated fan bases. But I have seen people get pretty intense. I remember actually a couple years ago. It was actually I think it was the season when the Jaguars were almost made it to the Super Bowl. I remember they beat the Seahawks. And some fan threw like a whole bucket of popcorn at this guy who had like a personal foul or he got ejected from the game. And as he's, I don't know if you remember that. It was like a big thing. And then like he threw the fucking popcorn at him and then he came to the stands and starts fighting, like getting all angry, trying to do something. But he's like, and then while he's sitting there yelling at him, another dude chucks a fucking soda at him. It's like, I know it's fucked up, but it was kind of funny in the sense of like, cause he threw it at him. Then he comes over here like he's going to the football player's going to come over like do something. And then somebody chucks at him again. And then he's all more pissed. It's like, it's fucked up. But like, I couldn't help but laugh cause it was just like, damn, like, and it is wrong. Like you shouldn't do it. I mean, these guys, they're not fucking circus animals. Like you shouldn't do it. Like they're people and they're making more money than you are. So most likely. But I'll
probably say my experience probably down here in Miami. If there's any team fan base in Miami, which like I think Julian you were talking about earlier, like we don't really have a story team. Maybe the Dolphins have been the longest because they've been around since the 70s. They're probably the longest franchise. I mean, the probably teams I would say is Dolphin fans. There have been I have seen, not that I've witnessed it in person, but I've seen videos of Dolphin fans getting rowdy, and those games get pretty crazy, especially if it's like a rivalry like the Jets, which is our rival. Maybe Patriots that can get heated just because of the in-division rival, and maybe like UM football gets pretty crazy, especially when like FSU comes in town or it's some other college can get pretty heated. And like you said, Miami, we don't really have any story teams with like long history since like the 1930s or anything. So we have like a lot of like what Jojo was saying is like a lot of transient people that from Chicago or they're from New York. They move down here. They live down here. So there's more, there's more likely of other fans to be here. There's not really a strong. But I really haven't seen it in any of those sports, especially like when we went to the hockey game, we saw Tampa Bay fans there, and it was pretty like pretty mediocre, whole drum, like pretty normal. Like nobody, I didn't see any. We were I was yelling and screaming when the Panthers were scoring, or I was getting mad when they fucked up on defense or something. But I didn't really see anything in the crowd that was like, oh, this shit is gonna get wild. It's gonna be fucking Malice in the Palace in here.
I forgot to say, you brought up college football. I forgot about Florida, Georgia is no fucking joke, bro. Like that. It's so bad they have to play at a neutral site, which is Jacksonville. And those people start tailgating 2 weeks before the game, and that shit is wild. Like the stadium is literally split red on one side, blue on the other, and it's fucking crazy.
I would say college is probably more likely, like I said, UM, but UM hasn't really been good. So, I mean, like I said, unless it's like FSU, it's an FSU thing. Or maybe like Notre Dame, because there's a long history with Notre Dame and UM back, like it goes back to the 80s and stuff. But probably football fans, the football bases are probably the most rowdiest in Miami. But I don't know, like I can't speak to Heat. I haven't been to all the Heat games, so I can't speak to it. Maybe when the Knicks come play, maybe there's like some shit. But like I said, the Knicks haven't been in the playoffs, so they're a rival, but not really because they're not around in the playoffs long enough to play the Heat a lot.
And that's what I was thinking at first. I'm like, I feel like the only rival the Heat would possibly have is probably the Knicks, and the Knicks fans show out here. But again, they haven't really been winning, so what's really there to go against? But
I forgot Jags Titans is no joke. People because that's our long rooted rivalry since we've been founded. Like Jags Titans has been rough. That and Steeler fans always fucking show out. And like
there's fan base everywhere. Steelers fans, Cubs fans.
The crazy thing with the Steelers for us, I think we find the Steelers more of a rival than they find us, because some of our greatest games in our like franchise's history have been against the Steelers, and we play the Steelers pretty regularly, even though they're not in our division. But the Titans, you don't. There's two teams you got to beat. You mean obviously the Texans you got to beat too, but it's the fucking Titans and Colts. Like people hate we've getting our ass kicked from those teams for so long. We just fucking hate it.
Yo, but I want to ask a question. Like, how do you guys feel about like how these sports teams are handling? Because obviously, they're getting, these guys are getting banned for life and, possibly charges getting set on them, which, like, how do you feel like the league should handle it? Like, as far as they have been handling it, like I say, this guy in Boston, like I said, he might get a felony because he threw threw the water bottle, and technically it's like a 3rd-degree felony or some shit. So like, how do you feel like the consequences are, as far as like, because me, one of the things I remember was, I do remember Malice in the Palace. I didn't watch it live, but I remember that night because they played it all day and the next day, and that was like the only thing going on about this fight between it was Detroit and the Pacers, right? Detroit, the Pacers. The Pacers. Pistons. It was Steven Jackson. It was Steven Jackson and Ron Artest when he was Ron Artest in that Metta World Peace.
Metta World Peace.
And I feel like, man, I'm not. Players get mad and want to jump in the stadium. Like, I feel like, bro, you gonna throw some shit at me, bro. It's gonna be some consequences. Like, I just can't have you throwing shit at me, dehumanizing me, and be like, I'm just gonna sit back and do nothing. Like, those are some fighting fucking actions. You know what I mean? So, I don't know how you feel about that, JoJo. As far as like rowdy fans, like, do you think like the league is doing enough to like stop that? Like, what can they do to like stop shit like that from happening?
I don't think you can ever stop it from happening because you just can't control people. But if the consequences are, tough enough, then maybe people will second guess it. Also, alcohol obviously plays a contributing factor. Not saying it's an excuse, but people get drunk. They're drinking all kinds of things in the game. Not being responsible, but I feel like one and done, man. Banned for life. That's it. Like, if you're gonna put players in harm's way or even people around you in harm's way, you shouldn't be there. I agree with the banning. Pressing charges, not so sure about. I feel like it really depends on what they do. But if they really feel like Kyrie was in a dangerous situation with that or any other player, hey, why not? You know what I mean? You got to protect your assets. You know what I mean? And just not a good look overall for anybody. You know what I mean? Do those things. You're not there for that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I understand, you have your love for your team or your city and everything, or your pride, but there's lines to everything. And people just cross those lines.
I think it's definitely a danger, right? Because let's say, he throws a water bottle, hits me in the fucking eye. Now I got to fucking scratch my cornea. What if I get angry, I go and fight, and now I break my hand because I had to bust your face because you threw a fucking water bottle at me?
The water bottle could easily been his cell phone. Instead of throwing his cell phone instead. Smack him in the face. You know what I mean? It could be anything. Like, you just shouldn't do any of that stuff. You know what I mean? Like, shouldn't.
Yeah. I'm kind of with JoJo in the sense that like I think you should be banned. And maybe go through some sort of appeal process if you want to be able to come back or whatever. But I do think the pressing charges thing is very dependent on the situation. Like I do think the assault with a deadly weapon, that's a stretch, man. Everybody knows that's a huge stretch, and that's a serious charge. They
might be trying to prove a point there. That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to set him as an example.
That's too far. That's too, like, you can go to jail for a very long time with assault with a deadly weapon. That's too far for something like that. To me, I think that's ridiculous. I think maybe to a certain extent, you should press charges. I mean, like I said, every situation is different. If you threw a fucking knife at him, then yeah. But like a water bottle, like, obviously it's wrong and everything, but like that's my only thing. I think the assault with a deadly weapon, that's a big stretch, and that's a very serious charge to put on somebody who was most likely drunk and was just acting stupid. Like that's a little too far for me. But I do think if it came down to it, or like pressing charges on something or what, like, I think it's very situational too. But I do think if you do anything to disrupt the players, you should be ejected and you should be banned either for life or a certain period of time or whatever.
Well, how do you feel about I think this happened right when the pandemic came back. I think it was LeBron was playing a team, and some lady, I think some guy was talking trash. LeBron said something back, and then some woman.
The Hawks fan. I don't think they did anything though. I think they're just yelling at each other.
You just got kicked out.
Yeah, they were just yelling at each other though. I don't think they threw anything.
Okay, but we're talking about throwing a physical object. Obviously, like, if you saw me, like, if you throw some shit at my head, dog, like, I mean, it's got to be consequences. Like I said, I'm not gonna sit there and take it. Like, if I can't go up there and fight you, then I'm at least press charges. Something's gonna happen to you. Like, you can't just go home and be like, "Oh, good job, you got me this time. Maybe next time, try again."
I agree.
But
You
how
should
do you feel?
press charges. I just think deadly weapon is a fucking
Yeah.
stretch. Like that's a huge stretch to me.
Which who knows? I mean, they might plea out. That's usually when you get charges. They usually plea down and like, oh, do community service, and I'll do a lesser charge or some shit. So that's what he got arrested for. But who knows if that actually goes to trial and that's gonna stay. But like, how do you feel about like fans like when it comes to like verbal shit, like cheering, chanting, booing? Like, what is the line? Maybe not throwing a physical object, but what about like verbal abuse in a stadium? Like, what do you think is past the line, Jojo? Like, what crosses the line from I'm just a passionate fan, I hate the Knicks, or me, I'm just a passionate Heat fan.
I feel like what crosses the line is if you start getting out of context of what's going on. Like, if you're gonna talk, banter and everything about the sport or the game specifically, and it's fine to a certain degree. But once you start getting personal, I don't know, getting into sensitive topics, either about race, their families, this, that, which has nothing to do with the game, and you're just attacking them as a person, then you're crossing the line. Even if you're talking about the game, you know what I mean? Like, you still got to double think what you say. Like, it has repercussions. You know what I mean? Like, for everything.
Yeah.
You can't just spit out what you want, your anger and your hatred on somebody else, and not expect anything to come back at you. You know what I mean? And then you go home to your regular life after you spit all your hatred and this and that towards someone else, and then you go on and forget about it. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah, everyone talks trash. That's fine, but you know what I mean? There's levels to everything, and there's just certain lines people shouldn't cross. You know what I mean?
And actually, this kind of reminds me. I'm gonna ask Julian this because this kind of reminded me over the weekend because of this whole Kyrie stepping on the lucky Celtic logo. Obviously, people came out and said they had their two words, whatever. KG actually came out and said like how that was disrespectful, like that was not classy, whatever. But then it comes to turn out, Julian, that like KG is one of the most disrespectful people out there. Like, I think he was in a series with was it no, it was Carmelo. He was in a series with Carmelo, and I remember that it came out like when I think Carmelo still with the nut. I don't know where he was. But like he called Carmelo's married to what's her name? The MTV.
Lala.
She's like an actress. Lala. She said, "Oh, your wife tastes like Honey Nut Cheerios." He said it into a game, and that was reported. I remember when that happened. That was like years and years ago when Melo was out there. So it's kind of like Julian, like trying to go on for what JoJo was saying. Like, what's the line? Like, what is too personal? Is it just talking shit about stats? Like, oh, you shoot.
Wait, hold on. Before, not to interrupt Julian, but like now your question's kind of intervening with like, okay, that's player trash talk. That's completely different with like fans.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you don't know what goes on in the court. Yeah, they say what they got to say to each other to get in their head. Obviously, that's a whole nother conversation with crossing the lines there because there's probably some stuff that we don't hear that they say to each other. Of course.
Yeah,
I just want to stick to like the fan point of it because we don't know what players really say to each other and everything like that. But if you're a fan, you're on the public. There's families. You're with your family, or I don't know. Like, I just feel like you can trash talk to a certain degree where you're not harming anyone around you or the players. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So Julian, what's the worst thing you ever called LeBron James?
No, I mean, honestly, realistically though, I don't have a good feeling about, like, I don't think you should kick people out for words. I just don't like that. I don't agree with that. I think at the end of the day, people can talk shit to forever. I mean, as long as there's ever been sports, this American shit doesn't even compare to what happens over in Europe. Like the shit that goes on. And I think it's a very slippery slope if you start banning people for saying things that you don't like. I think that really can snowball into something. And I mean, if somebody's like, the thing is, if somebody's disturbing the people around them and they're becoming a nuisance and all this other stuff, then yeah, the security has like, all right, this guy he's affecting the experience of everybody else. Probably need to take him out or whatever because he's acting crazy or whatever. To me, I think that's different than like like if you just say like LeBron, you fucking suck, and you're in Staples Center, and then they kick you out because you say that. I just have a hard time, like physical things. Yeah, I think you got to get them out of there. You got to do that.
And that's
but at the end of the day,
meaning like
you're a celebrity. You're gonna get shit talked. Like it's just what it is. It doesn't matter if it's online, if it's in person. It's just. You're gonna get, and you just gotta learn to deal with it. It's just one of those things. Like, so you gotta deal with it.
Point, it's not where they're not getting kicked out of. Obviously, it's the physical thing so far. The last things that's happened, throwing stuff directly to players. That's what's getting them kicked out and banned. But yeah, like you said, slippery slope. If it ever gets to that point where people are getting banned for trash talking, which I haven't heard yet.
I don't think that would ever happen.
Yeah.
I think
people get kicked out. I don't think they get banned.
If you're attacking players, you're literally attacking players. If you're throwing popcorn or something, you're attacking someone. You're attacking, the team's assets right there. You're attacking. You're attacking the attraction. You're attacking the main reason why everyone's there in the first place.
Yeah. If you're being belligerent, then you should be out. But like,
of course, that's another.
Here's my counterpoint to what both of y'all are saying. Is like, when you pay this ticket, this is not your house, right? When you go to a game, like you're in somebody else's place, somebody else's business, and like that doesn't guarantee, like that doesn't say on the ticket. And also, you can sit here on this seat, and also, if you feel like you want to cuss and talk about the guy's wife, you can do that, and talk about his kids, and talk about whatever. Like I feel like the reason why they stop, why they're trying to prevent people from throwing shit or people doing like verbal abuse is because they're trying to not have like the malice of the palace again, where a player gets upset, you hear some wild shit, some spicy shit, and runs out into the stands and starts.
To me, though,
that's a brawl.
But it's to
so
the player. They need to know. At the end of the day, they are professional, and they're going to get shit talked about them. It's just how it is. You got to be the bigger man.
That's a lot easier said than done because again, you got
bro. You know how much shit all these celebrities and stuff get. It doesn't even have to be just athletes. I mean, people all over, and it's just you gotta. You can't go up there and fight somebody. Like it's ridiculous. They're obviously less than you. You got to be the bigger person. Just get the fuck out of there. Like you gotta get your emotion to the side. Yeah, but that's what you need to start. That's what you need to tell your people and tell your play, like a coach or somebody. Like you just be like, yo, just keep walking, just go. Like don't. They're nothing. They're just at the end of the day, they're nobodies. They're fans. Like who?
And they have people that do that. That's why you see them. Yeah, they're upset, but you haven't seen altercations with players in years.
Yeah,
what you're saying. That doesn't really happen.
Yeah,
they do
exactly.
They're trying. Now it's just switching over from the shit talking to now shit is getting thrown at them.
Yeah, so I agree with the throwing stuff, but I like when I'm talking about just verbal things. Like you're going to get shit. You just got to get the fuck out of there. You just got to get out of there, dude.
You see how that's transitioning into more physical stuff now. So it's evolved. The fans are evolving now. Like, the trash talk is not getting to them. Let me go dump my food and my soda and my popcorn. Let me throw my water bottle to catch their attention.
Oh, and by the way, which I forgot, because we're talking about this Knicks game versus Atlanta, which I'm watching on TV. Atlanta's up 82-70. Don't forget that Trae Young got spit on. Don't forget that he went into New York City, and they were yelling "fuck you, Trae" or "fuck you, Trae," whatever the fuck they were yelling. The whole crowd. You know what I mean? So like, we're talking about this shit is wild. By the way, nobody, like I said, just because you get a ticket to some place to watch a game, this is entertainment, right? These are fucking like real people. They have fucking feelings. And I'm sure they get mad and upset. They want to fight too. But like this shit is in no other workplace is somebody else allowed to watch you work and then allowed to spit on you, throw popcorn on you. Like, imagine, Jojo, if I went to your work, I saw you doing some shit, you dropped a thing, and I started throwing fucking batteries at your head or some shit. Like, why would I ever do that? Like, why is it only? You mean why do we tolerate it in sports? Like, yes, we do it. Watch for entertainment. Everybody's in passion, but like at some point, like you just gotta.
It's a different job though. You're being judged. It's a different thing. You're being judged by.
Nobody goes to a doctor's office. Nobody goes to a doctor's office and says, "Oh, boo! Oh, fuck your wife!"
But we're not there to watch the doctor.
Nobody
we're not there to watch the doctor for entertainment, though. That's the difference. We're not there to watch the doctor for entertainment. We're there to. And
so you're allowed to bash other people because it's in the entertainment industry.
I'm not saying you're allowed to. Like at the end of you got to. It's about human decency. But you can't. I just don't agree with the fact that you can come in here and tell people what they can and cannot say. And
we're talking
then
about the
kick him out.
physical stuff, though. We're talking.
Yeah, but I'm not. I've already made my point clear that I don't think you should. If you're throwing stuff, you should, or spitting or whatever. If you're doing something at them, I'm talking solely about like just talking. Like at the end, like people get shit. I mean, you're a celebrity. You can't compare a basic everyday job to you're in a job where you're getting judged by fucking everybody. Like you just got to roll with the punch. You got to go, man. That's part of the gig. That's just what it is. That's just what it is.
I feel like we touched all our points on this topic though, because now we're just gonna head in circles about it. We know how we feel with the physical, and the verbal, and everything. I think this is a great way to wrap this up. Great topics, guys. Man, this is a great episode number 20.
We'll be here next. We'll be here next week. We're gonna cover the fights that actually happened over the weekend. Obviously, NBA playoffs still going on. I don't know if you've been watching baseball, Jojo. I've watched it sparingly, but because of NBA playoffs I'm watching, that's the one thing I've been watching.
I've been watching hockey.
Yankees walk-off hit last night. I
kind of stopped watching hockey after the Panthers lost. I was like, I'm kind of out of it. I'll probably watch it again later in the finals. But that's it. Real Fans Podcast. All the things. Appreciate y'all coming out, checking us out, listening to us. Appreciate y'all, the fans. So on all the things, Real Fans Podcast, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Zilla, Reddit,
MySpace. You forgot Tumblr.
We're on Craigslist. Anywhere you can find Real Fans Podcast, that's where we are. So appreciate y'all for checking out.
Spotify, Offer Up, eBay, Amazon, Walmart, Target, Thursday, Sam's Club, Publix, right here in Florida.
All right, I'm gonna cut them off right there. Appreciate y'all checking us out, man.